As someone who likes Doom and Pokémon, I asked the obvious question to myself: has anyone drawn the Doom monsters as Pokémon? The answer, to my knowledge, was no. So, naturally, I took the burden upon myself. Started with the Doom mascot himself, the Cacodemon. Without further ado, let's get into it. I think this version of the Cacodemon will be a ghost psychic type, so I reflected this in the design for its little ghost tail, which also adds more visual interest. At first I was thinking of giving it a cat-like face, but ended up moving away from that when it looked a little too like Garfield. I knew I wanted to give it spikes from the start, so I drew inspiration from Quillfish's design for this one and I ended up going with. While keeping the general round shape of the original Caco, I gave it arms like the reboot and Doom 64 Caco, specifically drawing from the Doom 64 one. For the shiny, I had a couple of concepts, one being based on the Doom 3 design, and the other on Doom 64. I personally prefer the latter, but let me know in the comments what your favourite is. Next up, I worked on the annoyances. The Lost Soul, and its parent, the Pain Elemental, together as an evolutionary line. I quickly decided that I wanted to carry the flames from the Lost Soul over to the Pain Elemental to tie them together better design-wise, and give it a sort of flaming crown or smokestack. As a basic Pokémon, I knew from the offset that the Lost Soul had to be cute, so drawing from the Reboot Doom and Doom 3 Forgotten Ones design, I gave it a sort of dog-like look. Alongside the fire, I also carried over a skull motif to the paint elemental. I gave it big fangs and downturned horns, all pointing inwards towards its eye, the focus of its design. For their shinies, I took the blue flames of the Doom Eternal Lost Soul, changed the Lost Soul's body to a yellower shade, and the paint elementals to a darker shade, more like the horrifying Doom 64 design, also taking the eye colour from it. I kind of love the Doom 64 design, but didn't really think it was the right choice for this Pokémon design. The Pinky was a relatively easy one to draw as a Pokémon, given that it's already a relatively simple and cartoony design, kinda reminiscent of Loudred. I threw out the idea of it being quadrupedal after a single sketch, sticking with more of an original Doom 1 design, although hold that thought for later. This was actually my second artwork of it, having been happy with the quality and posing of the initial one. While I find the Pinky fun to draw, I just for some reason had difficulty getting this one right. I did a couple of designs for the shiny, the first based on the Doom 3 Pinky, and then the second on the Spectre. I prefer the latter, which leads me into redesigning the Spectre as its own species. In order to distinguish it from the Pinky, I opted to make the Spectre quadrupedal, with a panther-like feel to it. For its shiny, I made one design based on its Doom 64 colour scheme, another based on the Pinky, having them swap colours a la Nidoran lines. For the Imp, I leaned towards the Doom 2016 and Eternal designs. I wasn't, however, happy with the sleek body shape, so incorporated the shape of the Doom 3 Imp with a dramatised ribcage and waist. From the start, I knew I wanted it to be a little critter, so gave the Imp an alien or insectoid look, with its large eyes and head, as well as mandible-esque jaws. For its shiny, I gave it the darker brown skin colour of the original and Doom 64 designs, and changed the eyes to yellow to better contrast with the skin than the red would have. Beginning to wrap up, I felt it fitting to do the first boss, the Baron of Hell, as part of an evolutionary line with the Hell Knight and Dread Knight. I kicked off the line with its final stage, the Baron himself. I incorporated armour from the Armoured Baron, who I was originally considering as an evolution or mega evolution, and the Dread Knight, to give the line cohesion. I gave it the Flames of the Hellborn Baron from Doom Eternal, while keeping the skin and fur colour of the original and Doom 2016 Baron. For the shiny, I took the green flames of the original Baron, and the skin and fur colours of the Doom 64 Baron. I designed the Hell Knight second, making it a little guy compared to its latter stages. For this design I primarily drew from the Doom 2016 and Eternal designs. And for the shiny, I changed the purple to brown, like the original and Doom 64 Hell Knights. And last but not least, I tackled the middle stage, the Dread Knight. I didn't have as wide a variety of designs to draw from this one, unlike its peers in this line, since it's only appeared in one game so far, but I had plenty of fun with it all the same, making it a bridge between the first and last stages. For its shiny, I took the skin colour from the Hell Knight, and the energy and armour colours from the Baron, again to bridge the line. I feel like these would be a pseudo-legendary line, likely appearing late game. Finally, the Armoured Baron. I was originally planning on figuring out how to make it a Mega Evolution of the Baron of Hell, but I just could not get it to work. Instead, I opted to make it a future Paradox Pokémon, which I feel works much better, and let me have a load of fun doing something completely different from the other Pokémon designs in the rest of the video. I essentially just simplified the original Doom design, smoothing out its edges to fit in with the rest of the Paradox Mons. For its shiny, I had a couple of concepts, the first sticking to the rest of the Paradox Mons with a silver coating, and the second based on my Baron of Hell shiny, giving it a sort of rusty look. That's it for now. If you're still watching, maybe like and subscribe, perhaps leave a comment. I'm thinking I might redesign more demons as Pokémon, and by god there are a lot of them to do, soon to be more, with the upcoming Doom the Dark Ages, which had its announcement trailer drop as I was editing this video, which is some mad timing. I was kinda hoping for a new Quake game, but I absolutely will not complain about a Doom prequel. That said, thanks for watching, have a nice whatever time of day you're watching this.